Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting. Thank you for coming in our presentation. I would like to share about monitoring of pathogenic inoculum in soil. Let us introduce ourselves. I am Ogi Prayoga with study number 121.
Hello, my name is Sarah Vanesia Andrianisa with student number 131.
And my name is Titin Andrianti, name 135.
My name is Dewi Istiqomah with student number 137.
And my name is Dina Aisyah Puspita Sariwadani, student number 138.
And my name is Rinta Sofia, student number 145.
Okay, the subject in this presentation are definition of monitoring, monitoring methodologies, soil sampling, determine the sampling area, and inoculum. The first definition of monitoring. Monitoring is the cornerstone and one of the key principles of effective integrated pest management or IPM. IPM cannot be implemented effectively without accurate estimates of target fungal and nematode abundance or without reliable assessment of crop damage and effect on yield. Long-term baseline data should be available to act as a direct comparator of field collect data, especially important where environmental condition alters subtlety. For example, changing climate. Initial implementation of IPM strategies by inexperienced farmer may result in crop damage. Thus, it is important to have sufficient and underpinning baseline data available.
Monitoring resolution depend on several factors, such as the first is knowledge of the background targeting plants. The second is biological pathogens such as fungi, bacteria, and virus. The third factor is the soil conditions suitable for pathogen, such as soil pH, soil texture, organic material, temperature, and nutrients. Low in soil organic material is a trigger factor in the development pathogen. The fourth factor is environmental factor. The environmental factor greatly influence the development of pathogen such as weather condition, temperature, humidity, light, and plant nutrition. Weather condition had a major impact on the development of disease. For example, Deucasus disease causes by fungi and bacteria. Furthermore, excess moisture and also affect the development of epidemic of disease such as molds, bacteria, and nematoda. The next topic is monitoring methodology. There are three common monitoring methodology, namely absolute, relative, and population index. The absolute method estimates the pathogen population density as a rate per unit of crop area or as a percentage of the sampling unit affected. The example of such method include direct visual count per plant or per row of crop or per unit area. The advantage of the method is widely applied across pathogenic taxa and is least affected by spatial pattern and change in pathogen behavior and sampling efficiency. The second of monitoring methodology is relative method. Relative method is the sampling method produce population estimates that are difficult to convert to ground surface unit because of the large number of factors that influence the estimate numbers. The sampling method used in fake traps such as pitfall traps, light traps, and sweet nets.
Number 3 is population index. Population index method only measures and calculates where the insects are living. The objects left by the insects are cocoons, dung, nests, etc. The method has very low accuracy, so that it cannot be used as an estimator of the real population figure. For example, we observe mice. What counts is the number of burrows. The population index that is often used is the damage or the result of pest attack on plants. Usually this figure is called the intensity of damage or attack. Soil sampling. The key to monitoring is sampling the right kind of target pathogens. Soil-borne pathogens are heterogeneous, that is, they are evenly distributed in the land even on a small scale. The use of diagonal transects in the field can be applied to general surveys. For some pathogens, a standard pattern such as a W is often considered ideal. A W pattern consisting of 30 until 40 subsamples producing a composite sample is recommended for general field surveys. However, for a living nematode, a W pattern with samples drawn at random points with a minimum of 70 subsamples is required, and ideally one composite sample per hectare. Sampling has been explored for many pathogens. Sample dependence, the minimum distance needed to ensure that two samples are not dependent on each other, has been poorly studied. Optimal sampling strategy is taken, ensuring the really important sample to size to eliminate potential pathogen detection. For example, the traditional standard soil sampling unit for nematode extraction is 200 grams.
The next one is determine the sampling area. The first one is sampling unit, and then the second one is sampling interval, and the second one later is the sample size or size. Sampling unit is the smallest unit of observation where the measurement and counting of the object of observation is carried out. Examples of sample unit are plant parts such as clumps, stems, leaves, midribs, and ground area unit. For the sampling interval is the interval between one observation and the next observation in the same sample unit. For example, there is growth capability of the plant, insect or disease life cycle, and weather factors, etc. Next is sampling size or size. Determining the sample size or the number of sample units will determine the quality of the observations. Generally, the number of sample unit or N, the more it will represent the real condition in the field. However, this will be directly proportional to the increase in cost and efficiency. Next is sampling design. The design or sampling pattern for placing the sample unit can use a variety of patterns that can be adapted to conditions in the field. So there is an example of sampling design. The first one is diagonal patterns, second one is zigzag patterns, and the last one is crop line patterns.
Purposive sampling method is sampling based on predetermined characteristics and adjusted to objective or research problem. An example is wanting to know the incidence of downy mildew in the field, so that the sample are plants infected to downy mildew in the plant population. Inoculum. In a root disease epidemic, the inoculum is one part of the disease triangle with the environment. Apart from being the host and inoculum, the role of soil physical factors such as pH, soil texture, and density can greatly influence the extent and severity of the root disease epidemic. Several concepts that involve the inoculum, including soil fungistasis, potential inoculum, efficiency inoculum, and inoculum density, need to be characterized before analyzing the inoculum and root disease relationship. Soil-borne pathogenic inoculum must be viewed in terms of dynamically changing conditions in the soil environment. The inoculum potential has been proposed as a way of conceptualizing the change in the efficiency or energy of disease and causing propagules.
For example, Phytophthora capsicii, a soil-borne pathogen whose population number in soil is difficult to determine. The presence of Phytophthora capsicii pathogen in cultivated land is generally only known after the appearance of disease symptoms. This pathogen causes stem root disease in pepper. In the conclusion, monitoring is a cornerstone and one of the main principles of effective integrated pest management, or AIPM. There are three recognized monitoring methodologies, namely absolute, relative, and population index. Soil-borne pathogens are heterogeneous, that is, they are evenly distributed in the land, even on a small scale. Determining the sampling area for observation, conditions that must be met are required, including sample unit, sampling interval, sample size or size, and sampling design. In a disease epidemic, the inoculum is one part of the disease trigger with the environment. For example, Phytophthora capsicii, a soil-borne pathogen whose population number in soil is difficult to determine. That's all for today's presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.